learn a bit about the history of robotics. Now, you might be finding the subject history very boring, so don't worry. We are not going to be spending a lot of time on it. In just 5 minutes, we are going to cover and talk about the history of robotics. But at the same time, it is very important that you know the history of robotics, not just with regards to robotics. Even the whole purpose why history is taught to us in schools is because it's always important to know how we have come to the point where we are. And only when we have understood the past is when we will be able to build the next future for us. So it is very important, in fact, and to understand the history. So I'm going to take just about 5 minutes of you, and I'm going to tell you about the history of robotics, how we have reached to the point where we are. And once you know that, I'm also, and I'm sure that you will be able to then be able to create, keep these learnings in mind and be able to create the future of robotics. The word robot is derived from the Czech word robota, which means forced labor or a slave. The word robot was first introduced in Karel Čapek's play with the name RUR, Rossum's Universal Robots. This play was written in 1920 and premiered on 25th of January 1921. So that's almost 100 years ago. Here is a photo of the play. These robots in the play were not the machines that you're going to be building. These were just humans dressed like robots. Keep in mind that back in 1920, robots were just science fiction. However, 100 years later, young engineers like you are going to be building the actual robots. Excited? Can you imagine what people thought was a science fiction about a few years ago? Today, you're going to be building these, you're going to make these things in reality. It's wonderful, right? I'm super excited about it. So, while the robots in the play RUR were science fiction, the first real robot was built in the year 1959. This robot was named Unimate and was first used in the automobile industry. It was mostly used to take over quite a few unpleasant jobs. Now, let me show you a video of Unimate in action. Now that we know the story of how robots came to be, let's look at what Asimov had to say about it. So, let's learn about that in the next video.